Hey guys, this lesson is on Greece Standard 6.49, so if you were out of class today for whatever reason, you can go back and catch it by watching this video. So the first thing that you need to do is, I've got your instructions here. We're doing this online in our Word Online Office 365, so you need to log in, open your OneDrive, go to your Greece folder that you already created, and make a new folder in your Greece folder called Standard 6.49. Then you're going to open that folder and make a Word document in it, and you're going to call it Greece 6.49. Now, all of the standards for Greece are in Canvas, so we're going to copy and paste the standard 6.49 in, and then in the words of Deja, thanks Deja, you're going to pizzazzle it. Alright, and after you get it pizzazzled, then we're going to take notes. So, I'm going to head and show you. If you've got this copied pasted in, if you should do so. If not, and get those words highlighted or bold, underlined, some way emphasized so that you can see what the keywords are in the standard, so we'll know exactly what we need to be looking for and what we need to learn. Alright, so once you get that done, if you want to see if you pick the same keywords as me, then this is how I pizzazzled my standard 6.49. We have our verb explain how the development of democratic and political concepts in ancient Greece lead to the origins of direct democracy and representative democracy. And we talked about those two things just the other day in class, including the polis or city-state, civic participation and voting rights, legislative bodies, and constitution writing and rule of law. Alright, once you've got that done, then I want you to make a title just below those notes that says Emergence of City-States in Ancient Greece. And then we're going to start our slides and we're going to be taking some notes. Alrighty, so here we go. Emergence of City-States in Ancient Greece. By the time Homer's epics were composed, each Greek community had begun to organize itself into a polis. A polis is a city-state, so that's going to be our first note. Alright, I'm going to be using bullets when I take these notes. So I have my title here, Emergence of City-States in Ancient Greece. I'm going to put a bullet in, and my first note is going to be the definition of a polis. A polis is a city-state in ancient Greece. Alright, I'm going to be toggling back and forth between these slides here. This is exactly what I did in class today. Alright, the polis was a community with its own government. It governed the city as well as surrounding villages in the countryside. Each polis had an agora or a marketplace and a government center, and the population was generally small. Okay, we're going to make some notes on that as well. So we have that a polis was a city-state in ancient Greece. Alright, here are some facts about the polis. They had their own government. They governed, They governed their city and surrounding villages. Each had an agora, which is a marketplace and the center of their government. Okay, so they had on this Acropolis, we're not to that point yet. We will be getting there though. But each polis had an agora. Agora was the marketplace, and in the center of that marketplace, you could usually find like a little platform or a little stand, and lots of times people would go there to give speeches. So sometimes the population was generally small, but other times, depending on who was speaking, the population could be larger. You can compare an agora in ancient Greece to what we would call a farmer's market today. Now, I know our hometown, has a small farmer's market, but if you go to some big cities, you will find some very large farmer's markets. They sell crafts, they sell jewelry items, they sell livestock, they sell fruits and vegetables. Just all kinds of different things are sold at this farmer's market or at the farmer's market in your local towns. At this marketplace, this agora, they also sell fruits and vegetables and the goods that they made. They sold livestock, and then, like I said, in the center of the agora, you would find them giving speeches about different things that they had learned, or about lessons, about politics, about all kinds of different things. So the agora was the marketplace in the center of their government. And like I said, the population was generally small. However, it just depended on whether you were going there just to grab a few items that you needed maybe for supper, or if you were going to listen to someone give a speech. Alrighty, we're going to the next slide here. This is a picture of the agora, and you can see here the traders that are located all throughout the agora. All right, the shops that are around the square. You'll also find the villagers' homes that are there. Back here you'll find the temple, and then what I was talking about a moment ago, the Acropolis with the Parthenon sitting on top. The agora was in the city center. Farmers and traders went there to sell their goods. Citizens also met in the agora to talk and listen to public speakers. And you can see right here this little stage. This might be where they had a public speaker for the day, or several public speakers for the day. But as you can see, this agora looks sort of crowded. Some days it might be more crowded than others, but you can see here that they're selling different products. Alrighty? Here are the farmers bringing in the products. So, this is what an agora might have looked like in ancient Greece. Alright, let's go back to our notes. A typical polis is built on 2 levels. Alright, your typical polis is built on 2 levels. The lower level is the marketplace, or the agora, where the homes, the shops, the farms are. The upper level is the Acropolis. The Acropolis actually means high city. Remember, we said polis meant a city-state. Acropolis, think about an acrobat. If you go watch the acrobats on the flying trapeze, then you look up high. So a high city. That is that the Acropolis was on a high hill. It was the high hill. On top of this high hill sat the Parthenon. Alrighty, and there were some other buildings. I have a diagram that I'll be showing in the next video. Alright, what did the Acropolis serve as? It served as temple, it served as government buildings, and it was a fortress. Okay, it was high up on the hill. It could overlook, if you were on the Acropolis, you could overlook all of the marketplace, all of the homes, the shops, the buildings. You could see all over the place if you were staying at the Parthenon on top of the Acropolis. So I'm actually going to show you a picture of that and what it looked like, and we're going to try to take a 360 panoramic view of it if I can get it to work. Okay, so just hang on just a minute. I'm going to hit pause. I'll be right back. Okay, I finally found what I was looking for, but we're going to go over this slide really quickly. Okay, the Acropolis, the high city. A typical polis was usually built on 2 levels. We've talked about that. Acropolis, meaning the high city, was built on the high hill, public buildings and temples, and it served as a fortress. On the lower ground were people's homes and shops and farms. Alrighty, let me see here. Okay, here's a picture of the Acropolis and the Parthenon. So the Parthenon, right here, sits on top of the Acropolis, and you can see here from this wall why this would be a fortress. Okay, and this is a rendition, a drawing, a sketch of a picture of what the Acropolis and the Parthenon may have looked like whenever ancient Greece, if you were living in the time of ancient Greece. Now I've got you a diagram here. I'm actually going to put this in the next video as well. This is the diagram of the high city, the Acropolis. It is literally a city on the hill. And if you look really carefully here, you can see the Parthenon. You can see the sanctuary of Zeus. You can see the Odeum, which an Odeum is a theater for musical performances. If you were in class today, I showed you a picture of this. I think it was actually in this slide right here. There it is. There's the Odeum, or the amphitheater. Okay, and this is the Odeum of Herodias Atticus. I think that is not the right pronunciation. I'm not really good with my Greek gods and goddesses, and I know you guys really get into that. Go for it. So you can see this would be the hill that it's on, okay? And this would be why they call it a city on a hill. It's literally on top of the hill, and it overlooks all the homes and shops and farms. Okay, I've got another picture here. This is the Parthenon at night. Now, when you look at this picture, yes, it would look this way if you were there, but photographers are really good at being able to take distractions out. So you see how the cars and things are in front of the Parthenon in Nashville? You wouldn't have cars up here, but if there were people standing there, or if there were signs posted everywhere, which I'm sure there probably is, then a photographer is able to crop that stuff out so that you're left with this really pretty picture of the Parthenon. So this is the Parthenon atop the Acropolis. Oops, and topo. Okay, so this is the Parthenon that's in Greece. And this is the Parthenon that is a replica. It's made, is it to size? I'm not sure. But this is the Parthenon in Nashville. I know that 7th grade used to take a trip there, and they got to go see the Parthenon in Nashville. If you've ever been there, it's pretty amazing to see. If you haven't been there, it's still pretty amazing to see. Inside the Parthenon is the Greek goddess Athena, and it is a huge statue that stands inside the Parthenon. Now, some of you may already know this. She is holding another god in her hand, and this is the god Nike. And yes, that is where Nike tennis shoes gets their name, because this is the god of victory. And so the pair of Nikes that you might have at home or that you wear, that's what those shoes are named after, is this god right here, Nike. Okay, now I'm going to take you to the cool part. This is the 360 degree view. I can't even think of what I was going to say. Oh, if you were standing up here on the Acropolis. Okay, so hang on just a second. Let me get it set up here. All right, if you were to go to Greece today, this is what you would see. They are working on the buildings that are there because they're crumbling, and so this is scaffolding that you would see there. But you can see all these huge stones. We're going to watch a video in the next lesson about how long it took them to build the Parthenon. But this is what you would see. Okay, this is why I was telling you in the picture of the Parthenon at night, photographers can crop this stuff out. They can. Alright, so now I want you to understand that when you are on top of the Acropolis, I want you to understand you can see all over Greece. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Look at this view. Is that amazing or what? Now you see why they were telling us that it was called the High City, a city on a hill. They could see all over the place, down into the Agora, the marketplace. Yes, this is probably a picture that wasn't taken too awfully long ago of Greece today. And you know, we talked about Greece being very, very, very mountainous. In the background, you can see the mountains of Greece. Okay, and you can see that the town is really crowded. As far as your eye can see back through there is town. And you can also see some other really high hills, formations of mountains back through here as well. And they've not built on these. Okay. Got some benches out there if you want to sit and look over Greece. So that's what you would see if you were on top of the Acropolis. Kind of cool, huh? Am I making you dizzy yet? I'm getting a little dizzy. Just kidding. Alright, so let's go back to our notes. Okay, one last thing in this lesson, and then we're going to skip on to the next lesson. And we're going to watch some videos that go along that will actually do a better job teaching this than I do. So let's look back at our notes here real quick. The last thing that we wrote was the typical polis was built on 2 levels, the lower level and the upper level, and what this high city served as: temple, government buildings, and the fortress. Alright, so once you have all those notes typed, the very last thing you're going to do before you get ready to go to the next lesson is you're going to type your next title in, and that is Politics in the Polis. So go ahead and center it, make it bold and bigger, just like you did Emergence of City-States in Ancient Greece, and type this in, and you're going to be ready for your next lesson. Okay, once you've got this done, you can close it down and start your next video. And yeah, see you, bye.